bring it to bear. We are vice president. You head the economic management committee of the country. Into economic policies now will be driven by you, and I say will be directed by you. Into I know say he's competent in that area. He's got the focus. He's got the mindset. He's got the experience in macroeconomics, and even as a general academician. Oni mejuma ejuma ne ye, ena onoso ewo adwempa ne akomapa. Eni nyansa.
Are we ready for a new president? Yes. Are we ready for honest leadership? Yes. Are we ready for a competent leader? Yes. Omanpenyi mama said, Ghana and Cheniere fearsome. Ewa Musana. On Wednesday, when we take our ballot paper, we will remember 8 years of corruption. They will remember Wyoming. They will remember Sada. We will remember Suba. We will remember bus branding. We will remember all the monies they have appropriated to themselves on Wednesday. When we take our ballot paper, on Wednesday, we will remember the arrogance of the NDC government. We will remember their lies. They've insulted doctors. They've insulted teachers. They've insulted nurses. They've insulted ordinary citizens of Ghana for asking them how they are using our money. We will remember that the 200 senior secondary school they couldn't build. We will remember that under NDC, various stages of completion means bare land and a billboard. We will remember the almighty incompetence. We will remember that they have doubled the interest rate in 4 years. We will remember that when they took over, the exchange rate was 1.2 to $1. Today it's 4.3 to $1. We will remember that they haven't solved Doomso after 5 years of hardship. We will remember all of their incompetence and mismanagement. And more importantly, when we take the ballot paper on Wednesday, we will remember that Ghana is a great country. It's a country that deserves a great leader. Another Dankwe Kufuado, also Arbeyan Shisha, Papa Mahon. Abania purchased $35 million. Dorbesi factory Amahon. Where's the factory area in the still in Mebunye Jumanya? One to Abana man and Kufuado, no Mahon Jumanya on 15 mountain. When you mean, come in. Oh, mommy, Auntie Rebecca Kufuado. Eke ewunana adodankwe Kufuado nyanya konta. Eke beba chuni ehanye. Koni ohiane bolewo. Amane hune bolewo. Ne bachewa yami. Ni wafenwa yawa here. For all the young people in this country, those in school who are expecting to finish school and get jobs, those who have finished school for years and are unemployed, we have a leader who's going to solve your problem. On Wednesday, get out and vote for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the NPP.
For mature BBA or Basso. Inti na ene eye Sunday dear. Me dinasia strong kona mamu. Mo amokwa asori ne mo amo ntimi ankwa asori. Mo amoye abofo ni mo amoye abonsamfo. Nyina ya sensia wa ha. Metia mu nyina. We bawumia samira so hwehwe ne kunu de message we ama no wahwehwe na wo no nti na nka mepese me frɛ samira bawumia na me kire ne sɛ me ni ba bia ne kunu no ɛwo na yɛmfa message we sei ɛmfa nkɔma no isan sɛ adepa de adepa ya de smile na de kokoma wura ya na mfa so ho what ya say ai ye me ni gidigidi ya see ye ni ya set trap no na ebechi bela ebechi de bela ya set trap no so memo bia enko ba bia wa bad you be yan say we be share no like no comment your first time on YouTube no so obetimi a follow ye na and as what subscribe to the YouTube channel no so mo nsema a okan the first video no e wa ha say mesa abo no mo ati the internet doesn't forget and can never forget onye.
He'll bring it to bear. We are vice president. You head the economic management committee of the country. Into economic policies now will be driven by you, and I say will be directed by you. Into I know say he's competent in that area. He's got the focus. He's got the mindset. He's got the experience in macroeconomics, and even as a general academician. Oni mejuma ejuma neye ena onoso ewo adwempa ne akomapa. Eni nyansa.
As an academician, no, or say they unim edwuma ye. Na obe pe akunya na didie. Na economics eni di ho nkomo. Ene de aplanke bodamfo. O say enye ono ne mfomso. Na Mahama ka sembi o say be careful what you say. This internet era, no. If a son say whatever you say will be played back at you, and people will see your reaction. Yensanti bawumia bio ansana ene dwumadi no akoso. Yenti bawumia ne yire eka no na ono nso dey eka muntie no.
Running mate the Emma, the new patriotic party, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, and I wanted to be at the Oman Penny John Dramani Mahama. Now, what I say, Oman Penny, I say, on your magician. Only acrobatic. Nanso so or a magician I was say sebesebo bewia or mine sika ana. And I say, on to me yadwama or manfo enyebi. Or in some way at to abra. Na one more rally kesia ewa or manfo gi trijeta da baye. Emma Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia had in semi atu eja. Or chair say, ka o maria a day every or mine wama or manfo a hochere aba wonum so. Or say, so man penny John Dramani Mahama beshama a juma abano. And some walker. Ede echira wonum se onya magician na obetimi edi sika hye grofo botom asayama adwuma ama omanfo aye enti Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia edi sem sei ena tu dwa e rally na se.
We will replace this corrupt and incompetent government of President John Mahama. This President Mahama government, this NDC government over the last 8 years, listen carefully. Over the last 8 years, they have had more money than all other governments put together from Nkrumah to Kufuor. More money than all other governments put together from Nkrumah to Kufuor. And yet, they cannot pay teacher training allowance. And yet, they cannot pay nursing training allowance. And yet they cannot pay for the National Health Insurance Scheme. And yet they cannot pay for school feeding. And yet they cannot pay for mass cocoa spraying. And yet the National Youth Employment has collapsed on their watch. They cannot pay contractors. And that is why we say they are an incompetent government. This is a government that has caused so much unemployment for our youth because under their watch the economy has collapsed. And so there is so much unemployment. And when we ask the president to solve the problem, he tells us he is not a magician. He is not a magician to solve the problem of unemployment. But he is a very good magician when it comes to the disappearance of Ghana's money under great loot and share schemes like SADA, disappear. We want change. We want change.
Minia enye mimenum nsem na mebode a kire Ghana fo enye jeje enye kofo enye akufuado obone kro no awie obekọ nti bawumia wona ase wope se obe succeed no enti wo ye NPP ni na se wuti me wa na se wakoma ye oya media mesro no maka chi wa ne se kofa asɛm a Mahama kan ya wanye no abebɔ edi atre Ghanafo na Ghanafo ne hu sɛ Mahama nso ye kohwini ɔka onye wote ase on be bi entro ne ade ni free ba corruption you see omuka corruption ni sa na ewura utrim momienka corruption asɛm ni sa na enwura mutrim ewura mutrim wiye no na mugina so na mde koto aba afi nipa na oye corruption no wasanya atade ne akukudru wanya akukudru say wa onam Ghana ho waje NDC atade ahye na ode bontoa se monsanto aba ma no na nipa na ode kro no to no so no senka oye ne kwafo anka at least sakofo si chachuchi kata ekromfo yeda sorry na ode chachuchi kata akogina court se ye no kre se oye kromfo se onye kromfo no at least obi a wagimi kura nim se ye de chachuchi kata akogina court nko ande na etre se aban no asem o kan ye no enu ho adwuma na oye no Mahama ye kromfo wo na wo ti aban so utimi de Ghana tumi no a ye de ti kromfo no e de koku tachimanfo ma ba wontimi mfa nche Mahama ye kromfo segleme omo kro no segleme de oye contractor de oye consultant de oye engineer omo nyina omo da so ti ase ba kokura ni wawu minister or sanction that program no owo ho onwuye oninam ho ye mfa ne nkotu ba bia enti na kromfo na obi ye no ase ne say because na aka na Akufo-Addo ne last chance 2016 tiengu obi animu ase na Akufo-Addo emra na obi ka chose yon ori ofo nsa so obi ka chose ono no ori ofo nsa aya na mempentem ma wani nyi se akwan se ori ofo nsa isanze in the end no ono an nsa befra because ofo no oye primate ti se wa ne nsani mu apapai ti se wu nipa no a o nsans eno ensanso anum ne ti se de wo bi na inti wo wi no ne nsanso an ba befra wo de na obeti wani no no wa rew ono no 5 na fra wo 5 na ye 10 ensem bawumia kan no bi ani ho a watimi aye ho adwuma ana etimi abamu asem bi okato Mahama so no sansem no se yiduabo a idua no anya no 2 times 3 times 4 times na obi se membo Kennedy Japan video a oyefa ne comment a oyefa about Mia statement say enye ono na driver no na me se Kennedy Japan me ya be kan asem awie say wo na wote amamu ni mu e na ade na esei enti wuntimi nka se Akufo-Addo ne se no nka ho. We don't need Kennedy Japan to come and tell us all those cock and books bull stories no. Kennedy Japan ni nyansa bia but nank Obama mo abeto abade amano. Omo nyina no ya abekro nsa wo. Omo nyina ya abekro nsa. Omo nyina no entro mu no omo didi. Entro mu no omo hwe wo mo nkwan. Entro mimi ni problem se wo koto aba ma wo NPP ana se wo NDC o. Mimi problem ne say Se mo amaye enjoy politics na ye ya. Ye sheda edin tro to bi so just because ye power. Oh yes sir. Problem no untumi solve se de tumi ni ma wa. O bedi tumi a pragmatic solutions. Me the policy say na beba be solve solution problem we. Ye too hwi na ekodi free SHS chi ade ye constitutional mandate. Constitution no a mo si yensesa constitution no. Constitution no ni fruit na ebi ewo mu no ebi ni free SHS. That Constitution of Ghana as stated in 1992 say was say ye education ma ye mofra no for free. E de benti no mo sha ase with F cube. E de benti ya it was preparing the ground for in school no to be free. And no mo yes had ni na o mo de share Ghana Constitution mo no. But miniano ye maya adwemu ye mre a we will get weak-minded politicians no more the adwa be di agro no moko. Wonim say Ekufuado ene ne nkrofo no ye nyansafo a eno mo ba eno mo be ma any superior leadership a anka no one will come and sit here say John Mahama as University of Ghana Medical Center. Na me say anka Mahama ye to abama no na nka opese nka o meye dey. But Mahama yenim say or play the responsibility as a president. Say won see hospitals maye. Say on see schools maye. And I will say there be wasan or ye kronfo na University of Ghana Medical Center no say ye de hu sika ma wo Ekufuado a obesi de sin so sa no ama ye nsesa. Bawumia ne kan yo. O sisika na e de ma Mahama ne NDC no se ono ene ne NPP ne nya ya anka omo de beye Ghana car kwan over 1,000 kilometers na wasa ye infrastructures ahodo no wi a enu achi no obesa ma ye nsesa enye Bawumia na ne kan ye Bawumia na ne kan yo time ntimi nkofa video no wo ho and most of you na mo team no mo hu video no mo ahweda minia moya amosio mo de amoso ya no mabetena na de bia mo kasa yes ye kasa se akonkonsafo ene atrofo no se omo dooso ye politics ni mu a eso nte because se entrotwa no keke no a ewo ye politicians ni mu no se eso te ba fo mu a eno kra che se Ghana ebetimi akon corruption Ghana ebetimi a build proper infrastructure. Now the oba be see infrastructure na ma the oba fight corruption no or the ntro neighbor or the atron sem neighbor. Look at the one who is promising you he's going to eradicate or he's going to fight corruption. That person is campaigning on the ticket of falsehood, on the ticket of dishonesty, on the ticket of lies, on the ticket of fabrications, on the ticket of character assassination. How do you then get a leader who is well cut out for the job? You can never get such a leader. How do you get such a leader who promises, who campaigns on the basis of lies, dishonesty, and falsehood? How do you get a leader to fight for you, to build the structures for you? Obi a oye kushini a on kanokre. Ono na odi wani beto ne so. Obi ono so obeye obeti kronfo no. What the atrocem na eba. Let's be objective here. Mama ye ni na ho. Ni ono so obeti kronfo ne dia ma ono. Ti oni ono na ba fie a yese akronfo abesesa onioma de ko. di ono aba ono so wo be che kromfo na ma no de ntro o de atro mu odin na eba bi gu so no na nya ono amu na ye kromfo no anha se oni akromfo na ye adwuma minia ye kan say ya mumu bi monti ase Bawumia has nothing to offer Ghanaians. He the Akufo-Addo abeye no a ye say ye disappointed no se munnim na mama Bawumia get anywhere close to the we say now we num ho I mean fa secret bi nto o mamo bokofo mo amote boko a mo ye kusafo no kusasi fo na omugu boko ho no ye kan mamo ate ase se munnim na mo koto abade ma Bawumia Mampusi for no. Do you know what they are doing? They are waiting peacefully. Say ye be yi Mampusi ni. Bawumia on. Wo ye crazy sin ye Akufo-Addo. Na se ye yi Bawumia. Ho na be hu Mampusi for no. Ni omo de be ye mo boko ho no no. Mo de asem we American you know. Fa sign baby. Do you know why this bruhaha no nyina no ano ay gidigidi nyina no? Because the people over there they think say omunipa e wo ho no ofonto nkwase ade de ma omo amanfo twin tuo di kokum boys no oboko no what ho asem because enye kus Mampusi fo ni ekun wo mo say Mampusi fo ni ekun wo mo a anka wo beti. These are some of the things that people get power and use the power to do in the country. Enti mompem ho asem no monkoto magonjani no onfiri kusasi hon eland no onye kusasi ni ono onye musi no Mampusi ni enti ono no odibe asem no betu ba bia asem ne da gonjani ni de asem no betu ba bia asem da na peace ababoko ho ene ye for this one muntwan fama bokofo no na de oti boko ho no mo a sorry ne koto abama Bawumia mo de munnim de eba now eno am be kasafa Kofi Bento ene ne nyoma na omo ye no ya ti ase we enye news emfa maye but the pesi e che Kofi Bento ne say Kofi Bento la saba betro bibi e de ato ho se ono na advice Bawumia says Bawumia nyetumi a he should try not to include Akufo-Addo appointees no into his government. Kofi Bento on say when the gods want to kill you, they first of all cause you to be mad. When the gods want to take your life, they first of all cause you to be mad. Say ye pewaku edi kan bo dam. Inti ade tia no akoka se wa ha. Akufo-Addo no enne ne ba ne nkofo no ena anya sika ena omodi pushi Bawumia. So how do you then say say nkofo no Akufo-Addo ni omoye adwuma no? Se Bawumia benya president no a eni kwan se ode Akufo-Addo nkofo ye adwuma. Meaning say o pese wagye atom 1,000 and over times say Akufo-Addo ene ne appointees ni nyina no dukadaya omombo number. Inti Kofi Bento adent na moye Ghana great disservice say unim say Akufo-Addo oni Bawumia ne nam oni na appointees ne nam. How can Bawumia become president and not even include one of the members Akufo-Addo worked with? In reality, it can never work. Assembly ho adwinche bi ho o kire a o de tunsen ye ni a enye dwuma. The people who are with you think are stealing, are misappropriating funds in Akufo under the Akufo regime, no. Omo na sikana bedi wo omo nchen. They are going to fuel, they are going to finance bawumia ne campaign. Na politics no me mfa me sika meboa o nefa beye president. Na uwi a wakofa obi foforo free baby di na ba be run government no. And you think omo di omo sika ma wo no. Omo betna no ma hwe odi yon. These are people omo betna Ghana konso and omo saki. And you know the secret? These people have under dealings. Omo under dealings omo are benefited in Akufo-Addo's corrupt governance now. And yet, in order to cover omo corrupt practices, no, afi beba bontin ni ababa be kasa. When it comes to things of this nature, see the energy. People who claim to have influence in the country, they come out to speak. And so Kofi Bento to Ghana ho, you kun Ghana for more fra 8 elections nimo. Whether say Nkofu no muye no omo to omo abama na nado so omo to omo abama mahama say NDC so NPP me a me no ha yedi nkomo yi nim osu nim Akufo-Addo kokun omo no nim me see Akufo-Addo on Ghana for my catch them. Akufo-Addo will answer for the death of the 8 people no mu Techimano because on the president and anormal Ghana crash Akufo-Addo nsa Ghana for ye nyina ye jiminti enema enipa wu o man mu a ye musa ho asem. Say your man ye serious. Last time mini abako o hasi ya on say obi bopunum. Obo bell ye sane call form where ye kohwe ye na adeya. Omo ye NGO. Na de no mo ye a. Omo epe emwa e di aboa stray animals. Emwa omo ayire fi omo fie, emwa ebia omo maami na omo papa num koshia o ka akwan so na omo meti ye na de wo omo ntino oni home. Enti what the NGO no ye na nyansafo krom na mede kasa no omo be jejemoa sika eni nuane na omo de akohwe emwa no. Na so omo hwe emwa no a then they find them a befitting and comfortable homes. Into so be pet ene na kwa akotena omo sa NGO no ana ohun na omo he the organization no omo apebi na omo di amount na won so ape sika kakra bi e di ama wo mo se nyo metimi ato akoso afa emo a omo da street so. In this country, animals don't even sleep on the street or in the streets. Animals don't sleep in the streets. Inti hu se onam na mua ne nam basa bachire. Emi cho say enyansafo achichiri kro. Se wo ma mua ne nam basa wono a ye de community na sha wonsa ade betina abodu ya fa ha na krama we ni namwa na oye dede na onene ne gu ba bi rough no ye bebusa mo mpanyimfo no because aboa ne enim ba bi a o na one beautiful thing akwa ne kan ya na touch him and say also you know these animals they use their mouth for feeding whatever they want to express whatever emotions they want to express they cannot speak it out. So they are standing in to speak for them. Inipe wu otechiman. Kofi Bente wo ho wantumi anka ho asem ankobusa kwasyampanyi Akufo-Addo ni se adene nipa wu wo techima na me se minianom enya agro dio 2025 omu free power Akufo-Addo ye de be kwa akogina court about cathedral no Akufo-Addo will answer the death of the 8 Ghanaians isiwo techima no who sanctioned the military officers. Ye busa Akufo-Addo be kwa busa de no ye chief of defense staff, de no ye IGP, de no ye district commander no wo techima ho o maye no court will determine. Na omo ye ni nyina no wo be bua ba no ho na abeti. We are not going to joke again no. Se Ghana ni be ye a se be to corruption asia. It is about time citizens ye be mobilize sika. Ye di sika bebem. Ye court na se judge ni so pesika. Ye nso be tua sika ni bia ma no to get the right verdict. Ti de make no. Se judges no enhu the need ntia obi wu wotachima just because kwase bi bebo o man ne kro no ye nkodi line so nte abama no na se omo se omo beji sika ansana omo ma the right judgment se Akufo-Addo be ma osika wo a wutie mi no o de resource ba at the time no ye be ma yenso ye betua sika ne bia ma judge no nti waji sika afi ma judgment no kwasiafo. These are some of the things muje na obi ekonya opportunity bia no they are set up group bi na fi aye no ho say terrorist group say mun fa enokre die ene pepeye emfa nwura oman mun fa nya oman nyoma muma nipa bi di yawo nti nipa ni nya connections bi onya tumi bia afi no na or they terrorize it unnecessarily. Na odi yem kwasiade enipa wu amo mekasa bawumia na Akufo-Addo na feli de mo pia ba ho de news fa na yakofa no na yedna besi so samo propaganda 2016-2020 Ghana for no so amoto aba hwe moma mo sa mo jimi ade se me titru pa aya na ye kanu titru eye NPP fo no ye de ye tebantema wo de aboa kra ba begina hase ya ye beto ama aboa no nti na mo adane moa no a moti ateche mu no obi dina kumawu ye de be nti na beto aba no ama NPP okani ba pa etesemi okani ba de eyede na meto abama NDC ne Mahama. What has that thing got to do with elections? Wakani na wo ye no. What has that thing got to do with selection of competent leaders for the country? Ebesine na yenya bawumia na ne yere ayi a friend say samira na onenam keka nkwase asem oba wa ba wiase de wo de wo sori anopa a wodwen ho ane banku a obetete de atare wanim so without makeup no wonni bibia de ba wiase without makeup no wonni na broni no ye makeup no woni krom no kran sa na odi makeup no ye ne ho Angela Merkel uhuno Germany no some huno oba no ekwan wo si build German economy no some huno busa se na oye makeup bia na atade a obesende bia na atade blue ni red ya ene wan ya no esese no o sika sin Germany on o samira bawumia no abo brassin Angela Merkel ya jiminti Kofi Bente ba begina ho obi ya wadamfo baby a eduru ni say ye ko elections Ekufuado afili ye bawumia ye madam funtino chinchinchini a wose miko na miko kasa. That is what they into Usha all the posts now year 2016 no they realize Mahama be winning into any year year say Mahama who say Mahama be winning no afi no ma started turning no the opposition party ni be winning the sa reset ni beto abontia. They don't go back and sleep. What they do is that they physically work for research no ebebemu. Sankwa ye o survey wi. Na kwa manipa no a we na obi a wo research institute specialist. Na wa betena ho. We bia wadi kan ye say e bia bawumia ebi win this percentage. One year research no we are no asan betena TV so. Say we advise say ASEM na America no we dey enye imani platforms na America na miama adwe na America. Se bawumia wini between bawumia and Mahama no bawumia wini a ebeboa oman no. Then it means that o research na wo ye no and na wo sa pekwan bia so a canvas support so that o research ni bebem to research ni bemu a then what be a credible institution. When about me and can say this is a WAP analysis and WAP research. Ti ba me na bio onye ti no
97.3 City FM. Relevant radio, always.
Mr. Chairman, with the relatively small amount of resources available to the NPP in 8 years of government under the leadership of President Kufuor, we had just 20 billion Ghana cedis from taxes and loans. Notwithstanding this relatively small amount of resources, Ghana's economy was transformed from a low-income HIPIC economy to a middle-income economy during that period. And it is always important that we tell our story. We in the NPP always are not willing to tell our story to the people. In the 8 years of the NPP with limited resources, we established the National Youth Employment Program to provide opportunities for the jobs for the youth. The school feeding program to provide food to basic pupils in schools. Capitation grant to make education affordable and accessible. The free metro bus ride for children in basic school. National Health Insurance Scheme to provide accessible health care to the population. The free maternal care for all pregnant women under the NHIS. The introduction of a Metro Mass transport service for urban areas to provide subsidized transport for commuters. Introduction of the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty program, the LEAP program, under which welfare grants are paid to the extreme poor. We saw massive infrastructure development, roads, schools, hospital, and water. In contrast, Mr. Chairman, this NDC government over the last 7 years has had at its disposal 200 billion Ghana cedis from taxes, loans, and oil. This is compared to the 20 billion we had. But what have we seen? What have been its achievements so far? The NDC has recently produced another green book to catalog its so-called achievements in terms of projects undertaken. The very thing our President, John Dramani Mahama, described in the past as an exercise in mediocrity. What is interesting is that after 7 years in power, and after having over 200 billion Ghana cedis at its disposal, many of the NDC projects in this catalogue are still either on the drawing board or are artistic impressions. What really have we been doing for the people of Ghana in the past 7 years? Mr. Chairman, I would like to make 2 comments on the NDC projects that they are touting. First of all, many of these projects are overpriced as a result of their apparent result to sole sourcing as the primary method of procurement by this government. Many of these projects are riddled with corruption. You've seen the car power deal. You've seen the Ameri power deal. You've seen the recent Kumasi International Airport. The runway rehabilitation alone, a rehabilitation of a runway cost this country $23.8 million. And as I said, I compare it to the proposed airport in Ho. The whole airport in Ho that they are proposing is to cost $25 million. So was the runway in Kumasi paved with gold? We've also seen the rebranding of Metro Mass Transit buses for 3.6 million Ghana cedis. I will not talk about SADA, JIDA, Wayo, the National Service, Rockshell, and all of that. Mr. Chairman, a failure to obtain value for money for projects imposes costs on the country and the private sector. Businesses and individuals are ultimately charged the cost of corruption and failure to obtain value for money through higher utility tariffs, hikes in taxes, and other rates. It results in higher prices and higher interest payments. Mr. Chairman, notwithstanding all the claims by this NDC government to having done so many investment projects, the stark truth is that the District Assembly Common Fund is in arrears. The GET Fund is in arrears. The National Insurance Service Scheme is in arrears. The School Feeding Program is in arrears. Payments to government contractors is in arrears. Training teacher allowances have been cancelled. Nursing training allowances have been cancelled. Many nurses and teachers having completed training school are unemployed. Graduate unemployment is massive and on the rise. Interest rates are high and rising. The cumulative depreciation of the city under this government in the last 7 years is 70%. Doomsaw has been going on for 4 years. Economic growth is on the decline. Agricultural growth is stagnant at 0.04%. And food crop growth is on the decline, it's negative. And cocoa farmers are suffering with the collapse of the mass cocoa spraying program and the fertilizer subsidy program. So how can a government with this record of failure attempt to claim that by undertaking projects that every government does represents a major achievement?
Interest rates any honyo and moamutie no. A fan NDC for cancel free teacher allowance. A fan NDC cancel nurses training allowance. Intino, sa no yo. Mahama koka say obe review no or so about cancel. Into review just a cancel at the no maba obe review. There was just a replacement, almost substitute BB for BB. Inti the Mahama kan 2016 FF teachers allowance and nurses allowance no. And yes sika ni wo mo de betua wo. Sika ho metimi de atua by logic ni nie. Ghana for mami no no mo awo. Baako e de ne ba ekọ university. A tertiary institution. KNUST. Baako e de ne ba ekọ West College eno se tertiary institution. Baako die ye nyina ye Ghana fo no ye say okọ a ye be manisika omu nyina income ye pe omu nyina ho kire wo mo pe okọ de ne ba elkọ wesco no ono no bosumi biara ye bema no allowance. Aside from allowance no anopa school no be no aban be ma waduane anopa breakfast lunch and supper no wasaje allowance de aka ho. Now odo ba akoto take aban no man aduane anopa aban no o man aduane awia o man aduane anwumre enu achi no aban no emma no allowance bia na aban no de man ne say onko enkoje loan from student trust fund hono no na so owie suku a waba bitua ono nso so ye Ghana ni ti say de yoko wesi college no enti say ye see ni nyina no eye tertiary institution. Now let's go back into history. Why was the payments when did Ghana start paying allowances? At the time one ni hia bi but na yenya omo into it served as some kind of incentive. I de be motivate obi a obe elected to go to training college into uko dia ene wa ye wa adwen se obeye adwuma de aboa oman no because there was shortage wo aban no pese or educating nkofo ntino se teachers no mo be ko dia ye be support them aban no pese or the healthcare services ekonkurase into se oye nurse ni na obeye dia ye be support wo ba ya yad na ama na beduru ba bi se afi no enipa no ye nyoma buso 2 ya say move omo free certificate level no to a tertiary institution na ye nyina ye ko tertiary institution e de no bi ko chi aban sika no wadi free ono kra de owie ya ha na dwuma sanda ho oba na okotech akosua engineering ni ho anwan no owia ono na ekutini apa na dwuma na ono nso so no wokope na dwuma wie a loan aban de man no wasan diskana kwa akutua so that student trust fund no ebenya sika de ama enkoda omo bebe akiri enie. Here is the answer. Adena yemfa all tertiary students enkogu one pool mu say obia pese okosuku a koje aban besia nefa kosuku no uwie atua ma aban no so that ebe recurrent adia obia betumi aba benefit bi eno na mahama yeye but enam so man Jimmy for doso na enum ye desen ya adwen mu ntino ye diskane di intirima beba na omunye sika ne bi kura mfa ye ho sa mentality ne wo Ghana ni bi atirimu enne wo okurum hini ni tirimu nti a otonton sase basa de ne mesi ne tetrema so desen na adwen mu ti mahama say ko na monko di loan emfa nko school no uwie atua sene yetina bi unua bi ko west school ho no mo a ono nso benya sika ni bi age mahama ama ni na menua wa woti broni cruise no broni cruise be so e wa America ne ho anwan no ene ma obi allowance se won fa nko school in all the advanced countries no oba no obekwa akwaje loan no de akọ school no oria no abetua arendi na wo so utua senior the national kit no always no ebeye full na de bia no ye depo yensa ye benya bidia som ediama enchirima na wo begina wudi na wantua ni akobo besia na de abetua allowance ni akobo besia na de abetua allowance na oman no de bia ye de kada yanim but ye koje besia na de tua allowance na wo ye adwuma na wo betua afi ye nkoje besia bio sika na wo betua ye no eno ene de beba de obeba ti no na wo yinsu ye adwuma na ono so abetua na afi no akoye cyclical or yes, a cyclical kind of system bia ehwe ye nyina se kufado modwen ko akiri a komo amfa anye politics o ye free SHS utia student allowance uye we eye hwan sika na ade ye enu nti a ye kodi euro bonds bebre no because uye say ya sika ne ba na ekọ na edi sika ne ba na yedi yakwaje bisia ne ba na yedi yakwaje bisia ne ba na yedi yakwaje bisia ne ba na yedi ena abusua ba akon so say yedi obusua no resources be kwa akwaje bisia yedi ma ona odi bie edukosua adwuma opon ho na oye adwuma na wabetua we pon ho na oye adwuma na wabetua we kwa na wabetua de obeba beje busia kotontos no ye ton ne mfaso ne ba na wabetua ne ka abusua be kwa akwaje bisia bio yinia yedi nyansa nketenkete na chichire omanyo enye any sophisticated ideas bia nyansa nketenkete timobe mo petumi nti no yenka bibia me nuan Ghanafo ye agimifuo nti ene ye ne free SHS na anwen ne sinsi ho no ene bawumia wonsem a wo kan efa economy ne hu nyina ne fina bibia age aguse wam de be bio na obeka say yen Kofi Kumsini kwas Kofi Bentel ne kwase asem bi obetena ho ka say ye mma bawumia fair hearing for the way asankofo bi say na ehia wo mo one on one ne de nyansa ahye wo mutirim omo anyini omo nimde but omayo madwen say ombi dinti mabone because na damfo ene bawumia say after all we should make mistakes going forward kwasi ampani we should make mistakes going forward but we shouldn't make mistakes going backwards. Number ni 0240258269 inti bawumia ukunu na wo hwehwe no messages we inti na wunhu no your friend says Samira ukunu no kwasi asem we no obekika ye na ye de tumi ma ona wonya ho na modi to bags akese na modi ye makeups anyan kwasi abane ye to ya anka Rebecca Kufuado maame over 70 years or so wakujina vintage bag Chanel wakujina New York ekoto Chanel bag and yes okoto wa top bag worth 29.5 that is $29,500 with your koto handbag me call ho and I'm catching say on ma me $20,000 na me fan ko ye fu 6 months time me de sika be bre no kura ko be ka so abodam ma me abrewa a wogi na ewu ma me abrewa a wogi na ewu okoto a bag $29,500 $29,000 mini I didn't baby akasa free
Eboto
senior
mechiao minua
ejo super
ASEM but on say the emotion ase nyina on sisi no se wo do ni beto form a your de resource enti yen koso sa because me kai emre bi me frɛ wo na me ka kyerɛ wo say ye asantefo na ana akamfo no ye hu amamuo se ahiniye
mini akwase
Ojasie enti the only contester tribe a play role a woman no ahiniye and na eda ye trim ba say no me dey to form no ma hu say asantefo no bi kura say no say asese bi omo hu say amamuo ni ahiniye different say amamuo is about development oto bama nyansani obetima ye ukuro ya amawo eti la enkoto sa enkofo we mu no de Kofi Bentel mo ne your friend says the likes of those stupid no let's leave them what can assembly enti what Ghana ha no want to say your friend say takrade 3 girls la omayira ye hwo
I know want
you but what is say bawumia as president PM. So you see, they always expose themselves, but they don't even know they don't even realize they say or exposing or exposing for ridicule for public ridicule. Yeah, answer for even say what Jimmy. I don't have any problem. Enkoto, me say wadaji, munkoso, but the America eka to say bawumia ni NPP, you know money problem. O dear, say no, you say omunfa dollar no embassy baby ya omufa. Now a 3.8 and now 4. Now dear omu wie hono dia. Yan true abakra, bawumia obey president straight because baby over to your car now say enye no. So one to me maintaining podia. That's a one Jimmy Pow. Yeah, over to baby. And now sit our baby now over to you know. And if I know what they say baby no, a true baby no what Jimmy. It's young in floor near Fawumra. It would go to one crown. Maintaining on economic micro indicators no. A policy rate and can maintain inflation maintaining petrol na a 3 cedi per liter 14 cedi per gallon maintaining a tin of milk na a 1 cedi 50 pesos money wo ha dollar na a 3.8 3.94 cedi money wo ha na ka afi no and ka obeka che say bia o the entia e wo ha no say Russia Ukraine war COVID ebebo no and can no everyone here who say we nyansa ba wu no enipa na wo so wa bon no ono no score mark no the score no what la 10 times dia
you know that's
it Ghana for na engineer e ka ba umia o say you put it to e UPS ho
that's it that's it wa nya bo tira de obeka no hello minia senior akwaba
Nkoto, good afternoon.
Ya Joe Minia.
Me dear, my son, kind of detective. Kofi Bento, Unimyansa Manabodam. Was it bawumia ba obe abandon a good for the appointees now. The question to Kofi Bento is say, bawumia or your high product. On your appointee, and I go for appointee. The ASEM ABA Wakano. Nyansa, you know, I don't need Jimmy. Go to Yajuma.
That's Minia board. A good for doing when appointee bawumia. Now we had a catch bawumia say my name for Kufuado appointee and find Yajuma. Me see, when the ghosts want to kill you, the first of all will let you go mad. You go crazy, you go gaga, or you get bonker. That is it. A way straightforward. We don't have to mince words with. It's not anything. What you have to do is me say Danny Dunwa. Okay. Now the ayatino say if a Kufuado mo say, oh, you knew na Ghana for with moja, you kunipa 8. Me so omo anhwe ne ye ya a Kufuado or send them one will be abono. Oh. Ghana for no ye call Ghana honom no ye di aso to fom o e wo Kumasi honom no ye di aso koto fom tie di ye koso na wo de ma soja fom panyimfo ne nada wo on the ground no me say my di kan aka if ye see we need danta akopɛ danta ne to the dani duru honom a oh kwa na wo acid e se bo wo chi so bag mu soja ni a wo se wagimi no na ne no oba be protected ballot am obi na obi di aba be wiawo no wiawo be ka cho se wo ye am Robertson ma na nso so no am Robertson ma mi no na mu nyina mo ja sika no na mokọ because ahoche na nipa dia be good nipa so no enye easy. So now nia bi ye adwuma wo GN bank and now for 8 years near busa say kwan be so na ofa so ne yere ne madidi ahoya and akenofuriata e dey good those banks ahoya abedina ho say you know there are no brain cells in your heart but there are brain cells in your stomach, right? abegyina ho so obi afro busan say why are you doing this now so busan say why you shouldn't do that because nipa nim say be o man na duru no eduru ani bre hwe me say mo ye rough on the people will be looking for bawumia no attack wo mo anya wo Kofi Bento no mbe nyawo samusi mo magimi mo na mo betum fitu agu nipa nanim the people will attack you one by one on the street na ho na mo behu say sa ehye wote honom no oyire obi nim no oba obi nim no the people are seriously angry and kofona ni abre no mo de ti o man ni mo because a boss no amoshi say o mo no mo ama o mu di ya wo mo akoma mu gese agimifo no a o mu gu dudo na gu asantema mu honom no e no ma ya o ma adwen say o mu die adwen a efre na adwen on fa bi mobra ene ye koka amanfo se mo ye twa yes ye beye because NDC for no a o mu gu voter regional o mu me unhu sa anwunani bi ati internet ne so abeka se ye de odi aponchi bi gina ha kra ye beto aba ma wo you don't hear that but ye krom ho de o mo keka sa nkwase asem no enti mo ne ye be gina mo so ne ye de akasa and nkofo no mu gini a che wa mamu num no o mo base e wa santemem ho so that is where we will channel the energy to na nkenye o man phone e nipa atitira ma ne ho a me ni adin ba bi akasa free.
So I'm going to Andy Molesni.
Andy, long time.
Now, me go to say, your nurses and teachers training some more schools here, and say, almost seniors, no, edge your modachi did that. Almost got yellow, almost your modachi, almost your maid, no way did that. And some more schools see, yes, Romo. Almost to a banner, entia bawumia in Crawford. Almost to until Mukassepa. Na ento aposita mo baby school na mama ba see hospital abo mo nyi djuma ye omoji ala wadi enne omo nkai se omojuma na omudi no
asa oji ala wani dia wadjuma na wodi no yes miss me da asiminia oji ala wani dia wadjuma na waje edi no ade bi o ho a izi eni kwan se omo obi betena ho ha na ho odin de ka kire wo ade bi o ha me mo bi ha na ho odin e ma me kan kire onipa ne ti aban so on free so ono ene ye e-levy cake no otimu no o twa bi adi o wi a no aka kire say the problem no e-levy no the mere fact about me agia tum say obeba be ye free ho na chese dey e chese enye e chese sa tax no nyansa bianim na nyansa bianim a aden na wo panyin no on kanche no in 1995 for those of you who do not know I think yes 1995 John Kensaka na oye JJ Rawlings the vice presidential and I say no ye vice president Professor Tamels at the time no na ye boss Ghana Revenue Service na na friend internal IRS Internal Revenue Service okofa ne ba ya obeye boss no na Professor Tamels odwen konkan hu say no ye betimi ageto nkakra bi e de free Ghana for ho de aye o man no na de value added tax e ba ye and that was the introduction Professor Tamels and this nyansa no e bre Ghana for in the show Professor Atamels so utimi hunyansa eji tax bi e de aba man ne ye de bo Ghana ho bra na e chese Professor Atamels no se oyi the running mate at the time na obeye the vice president and na chese nipa no onye any mean vice president keke because opia one decision o take ma Ghana we wuko ba ye di ho faso e disika e ma oman no e me yetimi de yempuntuduma that time no a omuka so omode VAT ne ba no e na kumi preko ne ba ye no Enunema aka or resigning as a vice president for J.J. Rawlings. Aka resigning say or non support to tax no. Inti 1996 presidential elections na yekoto ye no. Na aka na ye J.J. vice president no. Afi no na aba be running mate diama John Ejekum Kufuor. Enti bawumia wo se 11 no wo be ye fi ho e dia bay steps pragmatic steps and I will take ye say ye di 11 aba na eko opon kojo nkroma edna baby ekeka kwasasem say bawumia has never supported E-levy. Aka an support VAT no or resigning as a vice president. Enema Professor Evans Fifi Atamils enya ho kwan e de beye vice president under Deji no. What I say? What resigning? So resigning ye. And I be catch say because of E-levy no enya dia ubetumi ene Akufo-Addo aye aduma biwa, then the people will now understand say now wa akoma pase wo pese oboa wo man no wan resign kwase ampani wanya E-levy ni bi di atoto makeup boxes di ama wife mo sorry na London E-levy ni bi now the call we now the akwa koyi uhania E-levy ni bi now the saw ho yare makotena ho atwa cake di kwase alaji wo pese obuga na fosi ye jimi ntino ye ma wo ye nto abama wo ansana wo be 11 afio wo nso na wo te aban mu wo nso na wo te aban mu a de wo te aban mu say the last na o pese oye when the political life nim say he would do everything within the remit of his powers to make sure say bawumia ebe win 2024 elections no. Now o person win 2024 elections. Enipa ne say E-levy no omo hote omo wo ho. O si there be this oto aba mame bawumia ansa na maba be ye free ho. Na o ti kuma city ho say o ye NPP ni nti wagimi obi kasa wontie de oka no. Na o de mahama ho ahi ekona de kokoto aba. Na se bawumia ba onipa or say oba obe move from taxation to production. Then it say oba E-levy no be ye fi ho. And then watimi move from taxation to production. And then he has even complicated and compounded the taxes no krano at the amount. Minian munsua nyansa o. Hwe de ye no wa say neno, some of you may not get the full understanding. But munsua nyansa. Media de metimi aka che ono no. Bawumia were as dangerous as Akufo-Addo. Na ka kiremo bawumia no oye diabolic esen Akufo-Addo no. Ode monfani agro. Sometimes like Obia can kwasasem say na Kofi Benta abeja say we should give him fair hearing. Fair hearing for the way. Fair hearing for the way. Edebe bi oni ntiem free bawumia ho. Say when it comes to matters of corruption, whatever you smear bawumia with, no, Mahama is also, part of it, or has also a stake in it. Ubusa na wo something ayinini enye nkwasia calculations no maye na mo dia betena wa ade na umusa ne say e dia be corruption o say Mahama memu no didn't we see corruption na accident there no na wo busa say Mahama memu no corruption be na Mahama eyeye mini akwaba odin be bia kasafri
also happy weekend so
mini amejo so
me chat you for na herefo nyina say Betrase dua iti sam kwasi asema sa bawumia we konya platform kokaya still ye wo emumu bium e defend and support sam kwasi asema na chat ya me dwo ho amenti ate Hankofu ebu Ghana for say Ghana aye the whole country no mprakubuo anandwembuo enti mpraku ni ndwanso na omohwe enti ejimisem ne moasem bia no ombetimi aka na omafo mo ho edi na omko free Abekoba ni saying, we are the vice president of Omaino. The current administration, decisions, any bills that are passing in our Okahubi. Now, what you mean your audacity? One munipa, one very nipa, respect us all the money power, even one kasa NPP for now, or Mutwabama or no crown. That respect me a billion. When the audacity is have become quasi say, I want to work on mono. So which may you be this a Obama president from vice president this is what be president of Oman as no changing name near a Jimmy for being so hard. They support this nonsense. They don't see anything wrong with this. Charlie, we have a long way to go.
I tell you. Sankofo we mu krum dia me nua no anu aka no ye wo kwantwa.
Long way to go, bro. What class is
Oh. Ye wo kwantwa ankasa ye wo kwan e kwan ke tin pa enye short one. Ade Mahama from the political party no mo dinania ade. That means that the guy has something special to give to Ghana. Obetna so no me see ye nua ye hu bi. So one hwe kura no, look at the two most important points of entry. The Tema Port and Accra International Airport no. The Tema Port, Accra Airport and then Takoradi. These three most important points of entry. Ade Inti sabi what time will be a nan punani sa. Se Mahama betna so no yehu corruption no na wo samsan yin ni wote ho wantimi amusa question. Se corrupt practices no ebi ni die dan ko yi aba na wakoka sada na de sada ne stories ni nyina be kire no na wakoka suba na de suba stories ni nyina ba be kire no. Asiafo mote ho ama yesi dan judges dan in 5 years ye buagu ama obi ka kire wo se omfa aban sika ene DBC National Cathedral no ye wie ya aban sika millions of dollars ye de akwa akoshim 7 years on e dan yin sinwie na 7 years na Ivory Coast for no use ye EDCC stadium na omo sisi ye for omo waka African Cup na omo bono. Mini audini baby akase free.
Yangoto.
Senior.
Minya mechiao.
Bejoso.
Meso ya obi ni mekase free UK.
Ya obi akwaba.
Yeah nya. Mesre yangoto. Tese udi enomo we achia last caller now of friend tese Charlie uni ejimi for no doors too much. It Mr. Obesa only way at the emami. Corruption, Mr. There is this CPI data, there is this CPI facts on corruption now. A what graph on Mr. Cecia, a cowbet my own. Fat two screen so now a TF only before I read. Yeah, when I am clean on once and for because when you as it stands now, Mahama a year from 2012 to 2016. Yeah, 1 year there went me on corruption 2016. The graph is there. And from 2017 to now, Akufo-Addo and quite to me BT the 2016 a record no. A CPI Corruption Perception Index. They are the authorized body to check corruption of every government. And yet, Boslemuka, Mahama corruption, a Boslemuka advance. Let's put facts there.
Me say, Mahama, ni weakest way no krampo no. Fight against corruption no, and they coup for the highest. I don't know, yes, sir. Say, entina de bia me catch us. You see, do you know what went into 2016 elections? No? O say, omukwa say, ye de nana domo de nkofo bi free South Africa aba. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Unim de ombeye ye. Ne omo ye research team, ombeye research ni nyina wie no hu say, dum so wo ho, nkofo ne complaining, but Mahama was still going to win the election. Inti ASEM ABA research team ne ka chen say, in election, if you reach this level and you still cannot beat your competitor, what you do is that you have to attack the personality. Inti bawumia no abegina ho na ne yere samira nso gina ha na we gina ha afi the bia corruption and repeated lies. The number of times it resounds in your ears, if you don't take care, you may take it to be the truth.
That's truth. Mr. Ekoto.
Me see CPI no, unfortunately my fan to me platform, but what kind me?
You have one topic about corruption. Never start graph we have two of and Kevin, only Kevin Ekasa. Mr. Kachel say only topic about corruption, not on first EPI. And you know M2 because they are too much. What's the boss can you too much?
The biambe januma bomusemu aka.
About corruption. Hi.
Now, me say one thing that pains me, Manasseh Azore. So obia a president ain't mean top car. Ow! If you as nega mun ni nam honum basa batiri kura timinya sika kotoka. Na obia why minister, aye deputy minister, abiye yi own to mean top Ford car. Now one adia Ghana for one say nipa waji bribe no aka say yemfa nkoma ambassador wo Burkina afi wo kire baby aka ne kure bae no odi ma Ghana for say military for no presidential envoy and convoy ne kwa Ekufadu na o che Ekufadu kure ba car no Ford na ya na soldier for ne tata ho no eno ne saka no. Who does that?
Because they say no, Ekoto, all those and some now almost 2016 no. So only can be normal saying NPP for us almost mean about doom so
where then wakasa and just think you well me see 2024 years no corruption no CPI no CPI no ye de ba beto ye de Kofo de ba beto ye de Mahama de ba beto ho ye de Atamils de ba beto ho na ye de Akufo-Addo de ba beto na afi ya judge my ho because me need to me say me judge say aban be corrupt sankofo no more credibility no CPI corruption perception index omo indexes no e be kire say akwa we na e kronfo we nye kronfo. Minya me da se ya. Me da se, maminja, me da se. Kofo e mu kra no mama ni patie ne ya. Ya why are there pass o kan me. Unfortunately escape me pa na e wo senka me de beto ho no. Eni agro di na si hwe. Santro na ye di ba Ghana. Me say enu nti ni aba am ho kire mu no. Captain Smart will be trying to try a better. Leomensa Kwame Fifa will be trying to try a better. Fiapo Kuavim lady will be trying to try a better. Samson Yinini. One for no good on. And this is the reason here. Oko cancer man no be bo Kevin Taylor Monfanico we encoto Omu say enkofo we ni policy system no. Oka Mahama so nya magician near the video na ba beto. Oka Mahama se ni ye me say corruption ni de no e bi wuremu adomu nsuko ni ahwe say Akufo-Addo can stand Mahama when it comes to corruption say ye fight see ye two asia. Adena motisa ye chichire oman yu enya afokubo ne nkwase asem ku ne ye chichire munjai sa nkurase sem no munjai e de besi ha sei da fofre be sa friend ne no ye be hia ye do bibia ase mo amoba e amobeti Sunday worship no want to collection but mean say repan no we to collection 2% to collection na number near 0240258269 ubetimi do collection no afa ho masa asori bia wo kɔ no Ghana ho no to collection no de edi yen say ye de ya asori no ho adwuma na me osofo no so me de bi ahwe nkwan pewa what you say into to collection no na se osofo no a oya asori kanse mpa bom pa ye ma wani gi no onya sika ni bia ense bone ni oya nhwamade no ompepa ne nsa ho kwa what you say and collection no eboa e motivate sofo no mane give you off the best wa ma sofo nti asori a omonhwe asofo no omo ankasa no they are not well edified what you say if you don't look after your pastors well you don't get edified both spiritual and physical what you say nti adu be see ha say aha enna ye diffuse enkwasiasem bia aha say eye politics anu aduru ye de be ma subscribe to YouTube channel no Nkoto 101 follow a page no Nkoto was in Facebook na afi no me a notification icon so bell icon e da honom no anytime ye call live no you will be privileged to join us. You'll be the few ones who will join and then have fantastic discussion. DBC has a in the meantime no bye bye.